Hello, family trendsetter. I'm actually on my way from New York, going back to Baltimore. Another side. Let me come on here and rap with y'all a little bit. Now, I'm telling you, family, listen. The Most High Power, right? My Creator, literally have been working on me, man. He's been literally. I say he, because I guess I'm gonna assume it's a he. He's been working on me spiritually, like opening my eyes to a lot of things, a lot of information for the last couple of days I've been gathering. And I decided I was going to talk to y'all about the information that I've uncovered, but I'm not ready to do so just yet. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait a little bit longer just to see if there's anything additional he needs to give to me to give to y'all. Because you see, people, we're waking up. You know what I'm saying? We're waking up from the spell that was bestowed upon us by these devils. You know what I mean? I use the word devil a lot because they are adversary. The devil just basically means deceiver. Even these Gentile heathen people themselves have been deceived, because the Bible says in the last days, I'm paraphrasing, it says, surely our fathers have inherited lies. Okay, so a lot of these Gentile, these heathen devils that's walking around, they themselves have been deceived to believe, first of all, that they are the superior race, in which case they're not, because they're dying out. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of information out there that they're not telling us, family. These people are dying. When I say literally dying, just getting up, not getting up, not getting up in their sleep. I'm talking about young and old. And the ones that's not dying naturally, because they call it natural causes, they're actually committing suicide. Then you have the drug opioid epidemic, heroin epidemic. Family, listen, shit is real with these devils. But what they have done, they have given us so many distractions. And the biggest distraction of all is your commanding thief, Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Now we got Iraq. I mean, all these European countries have found a way to distract us. Even you so-called white people are being distracted, because if you don't see it, it ain't happening. Out of sight, out of mind. It's a media blackout. There's so much stuff, family, that's happening around the world, but they have literally blinded us. They have sent all these different distractions, so much so now we are just like clueless. We're clueless. And I wish I could just give you my insight for just one day, for you to see what I see and know what I know. Then you will understand why I come on here at least once a day, sometimes twice, to tell y'all about this religion that was given to us. Just think about it, right? Let's say 400 years ago. 400 years ago, we did not know how to read English. We did not know anything about the English language, because when our ancestors came here from West Africa, for those of us who actually came on the slave trade ship, or the transatlantic slave trade, that's what I meant to say, right? We did not know English. These devils taught us English. They taught us how to speak their language. Even the original people that was here in the United States of America, that the original name was actually Turtle Island, the original native people of this planet, of this land, of this region called the Americas. They didn't know anything about English. These people came, the conquistadors and the people from Europe, Spaniards or whatever. They came and they gave us and taught us their language. The original people, native people, did not know anything about Spanish. We didn't know how to speak Spanish. We didn't know how to speak English. So the question I have is this: so we didn't know any of these languages. How the fuck now you are telling me, because they have taught us how to read, and in many cases they didn't even teach us how to read. We taught ourselves how to read, right? Because for us to learn how to read back then, it was forbidden. It was illegal for us to learn how to read. Matter of fact, you would get killed if they found out you knew how to read. And the reason being is because the information that they was hiding from us, they didn't want us to get this information. So what they had to do, because they knew eventually, we was going to learn how to read. These devils are not stupid. They're evil fucking geniuses. So what they said, okay, in the event it happens to, learn how to read, let's rewrite the Bible. Y'all say that's our record. Let's rewrite their record, but we're going to give them our twist. We're going to give them our spin on the record that they was used to. Because you got to remember, the original slave, let's say the first 500 slaves that went into captivity. I'm talking about, because we've been into captivity for a long time. The Syrian captivity. We had all these different captivity. I'm talking about the European captivity. Like, we even had the fucking these Arabs that had us in captivity too. So we've been through a lot of captivities. But what I'm trying to explain to y'all, family, is that when the Europeans got a hold of us, right? They knew of our background. They knew of our ancestry. And what they have done, they have taken away all of our ancestry, even the African ancestry. Because when we was living on the continent of Africa, we had our own way of life. We was doing our own, we had our own tradition and shit. And what they did was they had to strip us from our tradition, because our tradition would allow us, believe it or not, to invoke our power, right, to come and fight on our behalf. Let me give y'all a brief history about the Haitian Revolution. Did y'all know that the Haitian, I'm paraphrasing, right? I'm trying to give y'all this information based on regulation, because I do a lot of studies. Did y'all know that the Haitians, they was using voodoo, African ancestry voodoo, to get their liberation? And what they was doing, they was invoking their ancestors. Now, I don't know who their ancestors was. I don't know if it was their actual ancestors or these were spirits that took on formation of the ancestors. Because, you have to be careful with that ancestor worship shit too. Because a lot of times we fuck with things that we don't have no understanding. But they actually invoked who they was believing was their ancestors. And these spirits, family, you don't believe me? You ask any Haitian, or you can actually go online and research for yourself. They invoke certain spirit. Now, it could be God, it could be the Most High and the angels, whoever, you know what I'm saying? But whoever they invoke with their traditional ancestral worshiping, right? They brought forth some spirit. And when these fucking devils, when the French or whoever had them in captivity, seen these beings, family, these like that white lady said, beings, right? These spirits or whoever it was, they dropped their weapon and they ran. They ran for their lives, because what they saw, they have never experienced that shit before. And now what I believe they saw was spirits, was angels. Okay, could have been fallen angels, could have been heavenly body angel, who knows? But whoever it was angels. These was beings that they saw, that they conjure up. And these fuckers ran for their life. This is how the Haitian got their independence. These supernatural spirits, whoever they was, I don't know, but they fought on behalf of the Haitians and helped them get their independence. They was the first country, right? The first a group of slaves was able to be liberated, and they used their original ancestry. So what I'm trying to get at is this: I'm not telling you to go do ancestor worship, because we don't know what the fuck we're invoking it. But they had to literally had to stripped us of our, way of worshiping our God, if you will, our power, and it gave us another God to worship. And if you really think about it, just for 1 second, ask yourself this question. Since we've been calling upon this character called Jesus Christ, have your life have changed for the better? Now, I know a lot of y'all motherfuckers going to say, yes, it has. Since I found Jesus, my life have changed. You know why your life have changed? Because you wanted a change in your life. You just needed a fucking excuse to bring forth change. When y'all commit sin, y'all always blame it on the devil. The devil made me do it. No, nigga, you did it. You did it, but you want a scapegoat. You want a fall guy. Whenever, the Most High bless you with something, Automatically, these fucking Christians. Jesus, thank you, Jesus. Thank Jesus for what? Because Jesus was a sacrifice. He was an instrument according to your story. His job was already done. Okay? He did his job. He served his purpose. So now how the fuck can y'all continue to call upon Jesus when God, according to y'all Christian story, I'm trying to rock with y'all here, when the most, well, no, when God, no, not most, when God, y'all call him God, when God, right, brought forth Jesus from the foundation of the earth, because a lot of y'all Hebrews believe that Jesus was from the foundation of the earth, okay, but what was his purpose? His purpose was to come and die for your sin, not my sin, for your sin, right? So that means he have served his purpose. So why every time now that God, right, y'all God blesses y'all give all the reverence and attribute to Jesus, the sacrificial lamb. Now let's go back into the olden time when Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, according to the Hebrew Bible's Old Testament, right? You remember how we used to bring sacrifice, bring animals and shit to be sacrificed to our God. According to the Helio-Bibulus Bible, the Leviticus priests, they had to, do the sacrifice for us, sprinkle blood and all that. Which, I'm telling you, family, y'all gonna start hating me, because I'm telling you, I don't believe that the God of the Old Testament is our God. Because if they have injected Jesus Christ in the New Testament, don't you think they gonna fuck with the Old Testament God too? And when you really think about the God of the Old Testament, right, Satan, right? Because I'm telling you, it's two different gods in the Bible. It's two different power. They only introduce our power very vaguely because they don't want us worshiping our God, because then it's going to be like a Haitian revolution scenario. But anyway, when you bring blood sacrifice, I hope I didn't mess up. When you bring blood sacrifice to the Leviticus priests, according to the Helio-Bibulus Bible, they had to, spill the blood and please their God. Because remember, God, according to the Helio-Bibulus Bible, he's a jealous God. And he requires blood sacrifice. He's a God of war, right? This is probably why we have so many wars today, because this God that they put in the Bible, that they wrote in the Bible, a lot of y'all believe that shit really exists. I don't think so. They injected that shit in the Bible that God requires blood. He don't, because Jesus requires blood too. Jesus said you have to eat of his body and drink of, eat of his body and drink of his blood in remembrance of him. So if Jesus, right, the bright in the morning star, the Son of God who brings light to the world, know that his name wasn't Jesus, because again the letter J wasn't invented till the 14th centuries or 15th centuries. So could it be that this God is actually Satan that requires blood sacrifice? Because we get our blood spilled every day. Y'all know that, right? These fuckers gun us down every day. They like to go into countries and they love war. So the same way how their God in the Old Testament is a God of war, could it just be possible that their God is actually Satan, who requires blood sacrifice, who love war, who's a jealous God, don't want us worshiping our Creator? You know what I'm saying? This is why now he give us all these different distractions, all these different means to cut us off from our God. You got to really think about it, family, because remember, in the Bible, not because it's in the Bible means it's truth. Because that book was rewritten over and over and over and over. They actually took out passages from the Bible. You know what I'm saying? The lost books and shit. The Apocrypha, Book of Jubilee, all these different books that didn't make it in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? You ask yourself, why? Why not? Because just maybe, those lost books have more of our record than what you see in the 66 books in this Helio-Bibulus Bible that we read. So I'm just here to provoke y'all thought. I just want y'all to think about it. If they have literally used the Bible to put us in slavery, because again, if you believe in the Old Testament, or let's say in this case they said the Old Testament is done away with, right? They say we're not on the law no more according to them, blah blah blah, blah, right? So now if you believe in this book, this Bible, and then you read where it tells you, slave, obey your master, right? Turn the other cheek. And you read that shit and you believe in God, the God of the Bible, you're gonna do exactly what Jesus tell you to do. The sacrificial lamb, the lamb that came and served his purpose, is no longer here, because I know a lot of y'all believe he's coming back and he's going to break the sky open. That could be the case. I'm not doubting that. It's a possibility that the Most High is going to use his angels to come, which are aliens, who they refer to as alien, but they're really angels because they require vehicles and shit. I don't think they're going to come with no fucking winged horses or riding on horses through the heaven. They're going to come with UFOs. That's what they call it. That's the chariot. That's the means of transportation they're going to use. And this is why you see today, now they having this disclosure, because they know that soon enough we're going to see it. Because like I said, the Bible is not all the way bad. There's a lot of prophecy in the Bible. In other words, there's a lot of shit that they have gotten from our record that they have put in the Bible as prophecy, trying to act like Jesus or God is prophesying. No, that was our record, because the Most High already know when we're going to be liberated from this place, and they know that too. So they have to rewrite the shit to fit their narrative. So when now you see prophecy being fulfilled, you automatically assume that it's Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ plagiarized the shit that was in the Old Testament. The Old Testament was plagiarized from other records and shit that was out there. But I just want y'all to understand, family, that we did not know English. We did not know Spanish when we was taken from where we came from by these devils. They taught us these languages. And again, 400 years ago, we didn't know how to read. So now that we know how to read, everything that we have learned, family, is what they have put out there for us to learn. I'm telling you, just really think about it. You go to school, they teach you about their history, right? You don't hear anything about our history. It's like our shit began like in slavery. That's when we came into play. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about it once again, family, that we have been deceived. And this is one of the reasons why it seems like I'm beating a dead horse, because I actually am beating a dead horse, because I want this horse to get the fuck up, because I don't believe the horse is dead. I believe the horse is just lazy and just don't want to get up and shit. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to do with y'all. I'm not telling y'all that everything you need to well, yes, actually I am. Everything that we was taught, we need to unlearn that shit. Now the Bible is, I personally believe the Bible, the Most High gave us this book, because I know, when I say he gave us this book, he gave us this book as a jump start. You know what I'm saying? Because if you notice, when you find Jesus, right, you start to change your life somewhat. You know what I mean? You don't want to disappoint Jesus and shit. So you start to turn your life. So I think the Most High use evil sometimes for good. You know what I mean? Because you find Jesus, then you change your life from your wicked ways. You some are probably out there killing and hoeing and doing whatever. Then you find Jesus, you change your life, and then now you start to read the Bible more, and then then you find God, because it seems like y'all find Jesus before God. I don't understand why Jesus got to always come before God, because Jesus is the creation. Shouldn't you find the creator first? But in y'all backwards religion and shit, you have to go through Jesus to get to God. You know what I mean? Like, if God created us, right? I don't know, a lot of y'all believe Jesus is God and that Jesus actually did the creation, because I be hearing I be hearing some Hebrews, man, and I be laughing my ass off. Like, these fuckers sounds good, but do they really know what the hell they saying? Yahweh Shai created the earth, the heavens. But then you have God, and you have the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. You have three homos, according to Christianity, in heaven and shit, sitting amongst each other, doing what? You know what I mean? It don't make any sense to me. But yeah, family. So if it means that Jesus was the one that got you from point A to point B, all praises. But now it's time for you to continue the journey. Don't just stop there, because if you think about it, right, before you found Jesus, right, you thought there wasn't anything else out there, right? You was lost in translation. Then you found Jesus. You realize, wow, there's more to life than what I was doing. Imagine what else is out there once you keep going. You know what I mean? Think about it. It's just a lot of information. But like I said, I've been gathering some information and I want to share it with y'all, but I'm not ready to do so. I just want y'all to think about it, right? That, like I said, we never knew English. We never knew French. We never knew Spanish. Never knew none of that shit. These are European languages that was given to us by our slave master. And the same way how they gave us these languages to speak, teach us how to speak these languages, the same way how they write this book called the New Testament Bible, as well as the Old Testament too, right, with their characters in it. Because like I said, Moses, whatever, Those are real. I believe those was real character, but I don't believe that's the name. Those are the names. You know, like Moses. We know it's not Moses, Moshe. You know, Yakata. I mean, we have our Hebrew names for these characters, but you gotta understand something. They are gonna actually put a Hollywood twist on it. They're gonna tell you that God requires blood sacrifice. They're gonna tell you that God is a jealous God. Which case, He might be, but which God? You know what I'm saying? Which God? Because if the Most High power, because I told y'all before, we're living in hell. This is hell condition. We're cut off from the Most High. We're literally cut off from the Most High. That firmament in the heavens, you know what I'm saying, that cut us off. We don't have any kind of dealing with Him. We're spiritual being right now, trapped in this fleshly body, living in this, you know, physical plane. And until we get it right, that's when we're going to have a one-on-one. But until now, you worshiping the God of this world, which is Satan. The Bible tells you this. Satan is the God of this world. So if you're praying to God, who do you think you're praying to? It says Satan is the God of this world. It's in the Bible. I'm going to try to drop a scriptural reference for y'all to read. So if Satan is the God of the world and y'all praying to God, who the fuck you think you're praying to? God. You're praying to God. You're praying to Satan, right? Satan is God, the God of this world. So stop using that word God. You're not supposed to be praying to God or Lord or Jesus, because it's none other than Satan. But anyway, with that, I'm going to end by saying I love y'all. Peace and blessing and shalom.